I'm going to do 7 of these videos, and they're each going through each page of the manga. So right now I'm just recording this on my phone and I'm looking at the iPad. So I think how I'm going to edit this is I'm just going to extract the audio from this and then overlay a picture of which scene I'm talking about. But let's get started anyway on what I like or what I don't like. For this panel, this took a really long time, and I didn't actually start off with this panel. This was one of the ones I did last because I couldn't figure out how to draw Lilith from the side. I completely struggled with that. It wasn't great. But I managed to get it done, and I also decided that I wanted to have her goth makeup on because I couldn't feel attached to her without it, because I feel like that's a part of her character and all of that. Yeah, looking up close, there's a couple bits I haven't erased. Like there's a little pixel on the shoulder that shouldn't be there. And the fingers aren't great. But yeah. Anyway, onto the zombie with the bandages. I did change it a bit, but I don't like how the blood is overlapping with the smoke and her arm. It feels a bit too crowded in that area. And I did end up chopping off one of her legs. I saw it and the pose was just so awkward and stiff, and I thought, well, this will make it look a bit less awkward. I've also added some lines for motions, which I think turned out quite nicely. And onto this panel, I really like this one. I really got to explore my creativity on it and just see all the different designs I could get. I did base some of them off the ones I previously designed. Like I made a page and it had like a bunch of different zombie designs, so I've took a couple from there. But I also added another one of my characters that I've been working on because I didn't involve her in the story and it felt like incomplete without her. So she's the one with the glasses, the cracked glasses and short hair. And I do quite like this one. The background it took a while to do the background, and some of the lines are a bit messy. They're not overlapping great, but it adds way more. Then you can see my character down here again. I really struggled with this one. I'm horrible at side profiles. I feel like Imani's head's a bit too forward, like it should go back a bit. I do like the brain though. I think I made it a tiny bit too big, but I still think it looks cool nonetheless. And for the background, I've just done a gradient, which is okay. I feel like people who colouring it in can just like go over it and make their own gradient, which is quite cool. But I do think when I add my own background in, it adds a lot more. Let me have a look at close up. No, it's looking pretty good. I drew a dude here. I'm bad at muscles though. I probably need to practice that more, so I feel like he looks a bit wonky. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this one. This one took me like one of the longest because I just didn't. I was so bad at side panels. This one took just over 12 hours, and there isn't much there for it. But okay, part 1 is over. I'm on part 2, and I really like this one because there's not as many lyrics as in the other pages, so you truly get to focus on it. Like you get to see Armane's face close up. I love the little hearts and sparkles I've added. And then you also see Lilith, May and Ebony, although Ebony's face is cut off, which is annoying. I feel like if I made the line less slanted, then that would have been revealed. I also feel like I could have done a bit more on the background, but yet again, deadline, it's my excuse. But I'm quite happy with this one. I don't have too much to say. I don't like how Lilith's necklace is like not in the middle. If you look close, it's sort of to one side, and I'm not a huge fan. I did like how I've done the barbed wire though. It looks a bit busy, but I still think it's pretty cool. And I do wish I did a bit more with May's facial expression, because nothing's going on in that head of hers. I think she's just blank stare. And that is part 2 done. 3. I've got a lot to say about this panel, but well, this page. But the first panel I really like. I love how I've done her hair. It looks really nice, because in her original design there wasn't like a parting in the middle, so you didn't know when it sort of stopped and ended. But I love her facial expression. She's got a sort of devious devious facial expression, and it's really cool. But with May, however, I hate her face. It's disgusting, and she should stop having a face. I can't. I think it looks okay close up, but when you go far, that's when it starts looking a bit odd. I think it's a bit too big on her face, if you know what I mean. And also, it seems like her mole has changed place. It's like below her lips before, but now it's above. So that, I mean, I think she should go to a doctor's for that. I do love the pose, however. I love how I've drawn her outfit. And also, I was a bit worried because the reference I used was like a thin person. So I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? Because I don't really draw many plus size people, so I was worried I wasn't gonna get it all accurate. But I quite like it. It's done quite well. This shoe, however, is at a wrong angle. The angle on the shoe is just all types of whack, and it sucks. I hate it. Okay, last part is this. I really like this. I mean, it's a bit hard to get all the detail in, and it's quite small compared to all the other panels. Like, it's not a close-up or anything. But the rubble is annoying me so much, like behind Imani, because it's not meant to cut off there. It looks really odd. And I like the shadows. I like how I've made the shadows. I feel like I could have shaded in the hatched lines on the rubble. And I don't know how Lilith is holding a gun. You're not meant to hold shotguns like that. It looks quite odd. But I do like how I've done the stairs. This is another background I've done myself. I like the gradient in the sky. Maybe next time I wouldn't have added the lines in the sky though, because it's just a bit, I just don't think it adds much. And that is part 3. Oh god, I'm already losing track. 4, and this is a sort of main chorus of the song. Her brain in this one looks a bit flat, and I'm not a huge fan. I also feel like I could have added more designs to her dress, since she's the main focus. Maybe you could see a design on her dress. But her collarbone is just absolutely going through her hair. I'm gonna rub it out now actually, but even so, there's not much point, since I've already added the videos onto the blog. Well, not the videos, sorry. The the pictures of the final results on the blog, and the exhibition has all been printed out, so it's very frustrating, but not much you can do now. Yeah, I also feel like she's a bit short. She could fill in the panel a bit more. And I don't like this big block here. Maybe I could have put them all in different sections, or maybe it would have looked better without a block at all. But, you know, yet again, not much time. 5? I don't know. But I'm really liking this panel. I've loved how I've done the perspective of the buildings in the background and the close-up of all the shoes. I do feel like the shadows look a bit odd. They're pointing down a bit, and I don't think they should be doing that. But does that mean, I guess, as long as you don't look too hard? I like how I've done whose boots are that? I mean, that's Ebony's boots. I like how I've done Ebony's boots. They're really nice. I love the little zips or whatever they are. Maybe I could have added some clouds to the background. And I think I should have added a couple more houses to the end, because it kind of just looks like they stop. But I like this to save your life panel. I think the girl on the, sorry, trying to figure out my left and right, on the right looks a bit odd. Like her eye should be a bit closer, but oh well. I do love the girl without the arm though. She's so cute, and she's also quite zombie-like. I love her hair. She kind of has the same sort of hair as Imani. Yeah, I quite like how her legs are popping out of the panel too. Feel like I could have done more with the background. The grey's just a bit boring. And the scene where the girl was getting shot, whoops. I don't like Hermione's facial expression. She's just, oh no, she doesn't. It's, you can't really decipher what she's thinking. She's like annoyed. I feel like it's her eyebrows. I should have fixed the eyebrows a bit, but I like how it looks like she's biting her lips. And obviously, I love the close up of Lilith. She looks devious, and I like it. She's very cool. Already lost track of the part, so I'm not even going to bother anymore. But I like this one. This is one I've just completely remade from the original because I looked at it, I kept trying to do it, and it just wasn't working out. So unfortunately, the double-barreled shotgun, taking out the slow one parts, is, you can't really see that because I just rushed. I couldn't really look at the composition too much, but I do quite like it either way. I like the close-up of the eyes, could have added a few more sparkles, and I like that I keep my head pun, and I like the blood spatter in the background. It's super fun. Although I think there needs to be a bit more detail on her body in that scene, because you can't really tell where she ends and where she starts. It's a bit odd. And I also feel like I could have put a bit more detail in the neck, like a bit of the spine popping out. I think that would have added beautiful. And the infected scar, I think that looks super cool because I basically just did another brush around it, around the bite marks, and it made it look just, ooh, so gross. And I've made it veiny as well. Gross. I probably should have looked at a reference for veins because I'm not sure if they're in the right place. I mean, I assume they're just everywhere, so no matter what, they're going to be in the right place. But, you know, maybe I should have done a bit more research there. There's the I respect you too much panel where Hermione's reaching her hand out. I quite like it. I didn't really know what to do there, but it's a bit meh. I know for a fact this is probably part 7. It's the last part, anyway. This one's my favourite. I just love this one so much, and I don't even think it took that much time because I was just enjoying it so much. Yeah, it was 6 hours. I just was enjoying it so much. But this is sort of the imaginary scene. I think Hermione's head, it's just me saying her name so many times is getting annoying, but her head's popping out way too much. But I love the background with the clouds and the flowers. I think Lilith's pose is a bit stiff. She just looks a bit like she's leaning to one side. I do like the matching lace. I feel like I should have used a different pattern. Maybe, like, because it's too close together. I like these hearts in the background of them holding hands. And the close-up, I did the grave, then that is the cemetery or graveyard or whatever, is definitely my favourite of the scenes. I love how I've done the perspective. Usually I don't work with perspective. I struggle with it a lot, but I'm really glad I tried it out for this because it just looks great. I'm not sure how well the proportion is for the zombie girl and the gravestone. It just looks a bit odd. But I've got the different graves. I think they're really cool because for Ebony, it's my boyfriend's birthday and then my birthday. And then for May, it's her, well, unlucky number 4. And then if you see behind Lilith, you can see that there's another grave, and this one's actually for Armane. You can kind of see it, just AM. But I thought that was quite interesting. It kind of is like, oh, she came out of her grave, isn't that? It's fun. And I like how this hand's popping out to the other panel. Maybe I could have added a bit more dirt, you know, like under the fingernails and on the tips of the finger to show that it's been clawing out. But I think this is a really cool one. I really do like the contrast between the black of the borders and the panels. Anyway, that is my analysis of things and stuff. Yeah.